Coming up on your West Palm Beach, a 6-year-old boy is back to normal after being hit in the chest by a baseball, stopping his heart. We'll tell you about his dramatic rescue and what his parents want everyone to know. We'll also tell you how the city's Operation Clean Streets is keeping West Palm Beach beautiful while giving a helping hand to those in need. And if you like to dream big, take a look at some of the yachts at the Palm Beach International Boat Show. They can be yours for a few $million. But if heavy equipment's your obsession, you may want to see how kids and grown-ups enjoyed the latest Touch-a-Truck event outside Mandel Public Library. And where were you during the solar eclipse? We'll show you where some area residents were watching all the action.
This is your West Palm Beach.
Hi everybody, I'm Cheryl Kahn. A freak accident at a kids' baseball game could have ended in tragedy, but quick action by parents and firefighters saved one lucky player's life. 6-year-old Oscar Stubbe's parents could barely hold back tears while meeting the firefighters that helped save their son's life.
Thank you so much.
Oscar is doing well, enjoying the tour of an ambulance Chief Maddie gave him and his brothers. He doesn't recall riding in it or anything else that happened after he was hit in the chest by a baseball during a game at Phipps Park. You don't remember anything?
No.
But his parents will never forget it or how it felt to realize that just like what happened to the Buffalo Bills' Damar Hamlin, their little boy's heart had stopped.
Just an unspectacular pop fly to center field that hit him wrong at the wrong time, and the 40th millisecond window of his heartbeat and the impact stopped his heart.
So I called 911 and ran to him and ended up doing CPR. I'm a nurse. I've done it once before in a hospital setting, but never as a mom to my own child. When I was doing the compressions about, in a minute and a half into it, I was realizing, this is my son. We were at a baseball game. This shouldn't be happening, but this is the reality. And, I was starting to break down a little bit, starting to cry.
When it became overwhelming, another mom, who's a physician's assistant, took over until firefighters arrived. Luckily, their base at Station 2 is right next door to the park.
He was completely unresponsive. He was not breathing, and he did not have a pulse. So he was, for all intents and purposes, without intervention, not going to make it.
After a short stay at the hospital and physical therapy, Oscar's parents say he's back to his old self. But there is one difference for Oscar and his brothers. They now wear chest protectors underneath their uniforms. Their parents are urging others to do the same, and even more importantly, to learn CPR. CPR! Oscar's mom says you can sign up for a CPR class or even learn to do it by watching a video, just as long as you do it. Now on to keeping our city clean and beautiful. That's the main goal of Operation Clean Streets, but along the way, they're also helping people in crisis. As the latest Operation Clean Streets walk gets underway in the historic Northwest, the team talks strategy.
If you run into something that requires police matter, obviously give Rodney a call.
Their mission on this day, to find trash and debris strewn about, abandoned cars, anything that could have a negative impact on the quality of life in the neighborhood.
There's concrete material, sharp objects.
And while some of those discoveries may seem trivial, they can be signs of more serious issues. This vacant, boarded-up home used to have a no trespassing sign posted, but it was quickly torn down. Neighbors say they've been worried about what they've seen at the house for quite some time.
The weapons were on the patio. There's a sword.
When we sit on that porch, and I'm scared that somebody may come up on my property and try to hurt me.
In addition to police, code and parking enforcement officers, and public works employees always participate in the walks. While they are looking for obvious violations,
We want to make sure that the area is clean and clear of debris.
it's not always cut and dried, as in the case of 80-year-old Joe. Joe had been living in his car on this street for years, with his belongings, including a small propane tank, lined up on the sidewalk.
I've been here 80 years.
I understand that, sir.
Members of the city's homeless outreach team were called in to talk to Joe and offer him help finding shelter and other services, but Joe said he's staying put.
Have a legal God-given right here. Yes, I do.
Those outreach workers who've spoken to Joe before say they're not giving up on him.
I hope he will accept our help.
And your help would consist of what?
So right now I probably bring him food and water and clothes and just build a bond with them, get a relationship with them.
While the walk did result in some improvements in the neighborhood, there is much more work to be done here and in other areas around the city. The team will continue their work during the next walk coming soon. If you like to walk along the waterfront, you may have noticed a pretty impressive collection of yachts docked there recently. They were all part of the Palm Beach International Boat Show. At the Palm Beach International Boat Show, with a record number of yachts lining the docks, the waterfront looked a bit like something out of a James Bond movie. The vessels were eye-catching and extremely pricey, as Mayor Keith James alluded to at the show's opening ceremony.
The best boat to have is a friend with the boat. So I think I got at least 800 friends out here today, right?
Your friend would need nearly $14 million to own this yacht. It's 150 feet of pure luxury with room for 12 guests and 9 crew members.
So up here on the flybridge, we have a beautiful lounging area.
Broward County native Josh Marshall used to crew on yachts like this one. Yes, just like on Bravo's Below Deck. After getting married, he traded year-round traveling for selling high-end yachts at home, and he hasn't looked back since.
I grew up in Fort Lauderdale, being out on the water, spending time on boats, and just fell in love with the idea of being on boats and the passion that I had for the water and boating. I just decided to make it a career.
Potential customers spend hours checking out all types of yachts, taking their shoes off before climbing aboard, getting a feel for them, sometimes even taking a ride. Their reasons for being here range from just browsing. Are you tempted?
Well, always tempted.
To looking for their next spectacular toy.
Looking for about 30 to 35 foot cabin cruiser.
And even though most of us can't afford the multi-million-dollar price tags on these mega yachts, we're still reaping the benefits.
Looks perfect.
That's because the boat show employed 15,000 people, and visitors spent money not just at the show itself, but also at restaurants, bars, and stores all over town, which was a big boost to our local economy. Most of the really big yachts have moved on for now, but you can still see a few along our downtown waterfront. Now, if you're a kid or a kid at heart, you probably would have loved to have been at one of the latest events held outside Mandel Public Library. It was called Touch a Truck, and that's exactly what you were allowed to do. For kids who are fascinated by heavy equipment and the people who operate it, this was the place to be. Touch a Truck, sponsored by Mandel Public Library, offered children a chance to get their hands on some of the vehicles they've seen around town, like the ones that pick up their family's trash,
Dumpster cans,
and the ones that workers use to fix streetlights. While kids weren't allowed to go up in the air, they were able to stand in the bucket for a minute or two. Whether pushing the buttons that make this dump truck get rid of its load or this garbage truck pick up a trash can, the excitement level for many of the kids was through the roof.
He loved operating the garbage truck, the lever. He got to compact the garbage.
My kids actually normally love trucks and love seeing, all the city stuff when the garbage truck comes around during the weekends.
The event also included time for kids to play with toy trucks. What is it?
You got it?
And do some coloring, but most of all spend quality time with some of their favorite pieces of heavy equipment and with the quality people who operate it. They'll be having another event in the coming months, so you and your kids can still get your hands on some of those trucks. That same corner was pretty crowded during the recent solar eclipse. We weren't in the path of totality, but we were there for it anyway. With South Florida so far away from the solar eclipse's path of totality, we were told not to expect too much. Still, what we did see was pretty cool.
Totally cool.
Hundreds of people gathered outside City Hall to don protective glasses and take a peek, many of them ducking out of work for a few minutes to witness this rare event.
The circle is getting darker now.
Dr. Stephen Schiff is on the board of the Astronomical Society of the Palm Beaches. He lives for this kind of thing, so he brought a telescope downtown to help others share this unique experience with him.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make the trip to Totality to see it, so they said that everybody else has left town. I'm the only one left. Would I come down here and show people a partial eclipse? And I said sure.
At the height of the viewing time in our area, half of the sun was covered by the moon. The whole thing was over for us within a couple of hours, but for many, it was magical.
Sun is beautiful.
The next solar eclipse that will be visible from the U.S. won't happen until 2044. But there is another one expected to pass over parts of Greenland, Iceland, and Spain in 2026. And Dr. Schiff is already making plans to go there.
I'm going to Spain on August 12, 2026.
And when that day comes, he'll no doubt have lots of company. Until then, have a good one in your West Palm Beach.